We are live. We got Gillord Palilo already in the chat saying what's up to the people. Expecting the Discord community to show out on this one. And I'm expecting you guys to hit all the questions that you have in the comments. We're going to be churning through them. I got the next. Hey, what's up, Qui-Gon Jinn? Shout out to Star Wars Episode 1, even though most people hate it. I actually really like Phantom Menace. I know it's a hot take. We'll have plenty more hot takes coming out on this live stream. I'll have the next 45 minutes or so to just grind through all y'all's questions. What's up, Julian? What's good? Shout out to the Discord squad. We're going to be plugging that for sure here today. That's where the people live. That's where we have fun. That's where we drop takes, drop knowledge. Hit those start-sit questions. We talk dynasty. We talk redraft. We talk trades. I've even done screen shares where I've gone through people's rosters step by step, looked at all their opponents' rosters, and we've structured deals. So hop in that Discord if you're watching later. If you're watching right now and you're not in there, I don't know what you're doing. It's free to join. You hit a link. Baltimore in the house. Larry Harris, I assume that means you're a Ravens fan. You guys are 1-point underdogs going up against the Broncos. I'm taking Baltimore money line in this game, but I'm curious to see if you are a Ravens fan, how confident you are in them beating the Broncos on Sunday. But let's start talking about this game from last night. There was a little bit of drama. I mean, I think the biggest thing long term from last night is that DJ Chark probably out for the rest of the year. It's absolutely heartbreaking for him. It's great for Laviska Shenault from a fantasy perspective. Great for Marvin Jones, even though he didn't show out in that game. Long term, I'm in love with Marvin Jones right now, sitting as the wide receiver 16, on pace for 160 targets. Granted, it is a 17-game season. 160 targets is like what Stephon Diggs got last year when he went absolutely nuts. Qui-Gon Jinn can't stay that long. Well, I appreciate you stopping in. I know you're busy. Everybody's got to live their lives. We all have our own schedules. Wondering if I should sell Ridley and what should I get in return. I'll tell you what I did. I sold Ridley recently and I got Ezekiel Elliott. Now, this was last week before he had the boom game on Monday Night Football against Philly with the 2 touchdowns. But I'd be trying to get a RB1, high-end RB2 that's currently underperforming. Other names that come to mind would be like Antonio Gibson. Fits into that mold. Depending on how high you are on Miles Sanders, maybe. I'm high on Sanders, but it's his usage is a little bit terrifying right now. Who else could you get for Ridley? You know, go get Leonard Fournette and a Cortland Sutton, right? Go get a flex and a guy who can fill in an RB2 spot for you. So you can move Ridley for a running back, or you can make kind of a lateral move and go build up the depth. Should I take out Kittle? Do you think he will play? It's hard to know right now. He's listed officially as questionable. I'm going to err on the side that he's not going to play. So I'd go ahead and have a bench stash tight end ready to go. Oh, Kenny, with the first trade question of the day, should I trade Mixion, Joe Mixon, for Jonathan Taylor and Brandon Ayuk? I would absolutely do that. Not even thinking about like the injury implications of last night for Mixon, where it did seem like he got banged up in the fourth quarter. I know last year he missed a ton of the season. I think they were more saving him, but injuries aside, I would do Mixon for JT and Brandon Ayuk if I need depth. And now that things are getting a little shaky with Mixon, I'd totally be down to make that move for sure. What's up, Jeff Fields McCormick? Broncos fan here. Really hoping the Denver defense proves that we are a legit contender. Jeff, I hope that for you as well. Teddy Bridgewater's balling out right now, making things happen. It's just first Jerry Jeudy. Man, that was brutal to see him go down. Now we got Melvin Gordon showing up questionable. But the Denver defense that you're calling out, I mean, they are legit. They are 100% legit. The only thing that we haven't seen, which is what, Jeff, for you, is going to prove that they are contenders. Now they're playing against a team that's going to be able to put up points in Baltimore Ravens. So far, you guys have played the Giants, the Jaguars, and the Jets. So when I'm looking at the power rankings, seeing Denver like top 3, top 5 in power rankings, I'm taking it with a pretty big grain of salt. But I would love for the Broncos to come in and make the Ravens, deflate their ego a bit. They're riding high after that Kansas City win. Ciara Moore, full PPR, need a solid flex since T. Higgins is out. Cordero Patterson, Antonio Brown, Nyheim Hines, or Trey Sermon. This is clearly Antonio Brown to me. Fire up AB. Get hype for AB. He's back. He's back. He missed the 1 week with a COVID. It didn't seem like he got COVID. He was like a close contact. And then I don't really know what happened from there. There was kind of a gap in the reporting. But I'm rolling AB out there with confidence. I think he could be the target leader in this offense by the end of the season. And he was last year when Evans, Godwin, and AB were all on the field. So what's to say that can't happen again? So some games you see Brady lock in on AB, and it's scary. Chris, Darnell Mooney season. I know. We thought it was Darnell Mooney season last week. Absolutely brutal. If you plugged him in, I hope you did not. We need to see it from Fields first. We need to see it from Mooney first. It was delayed by Myles Garrett. It doesn't start this week yet. I think it starts the week after. I'm going to pull up Mooney's schedule, but I'm tempering expectations on Mooney, man. He is just a deep threat right now. Like, what's the difference between Darnell Mooney and Darius Slayton, other than a clear path to being the number 2, right? Like, I haven't seen enough from Mooney. Like, yes, he had a very strong rookie season, but so did Darius Slayton. So is Darnell Mooney that deep threat plus, or is he just like a one-trick pony? That's what we need to find out. Hopefully Fields can turn him into more than that. Maybe he can take that Robbie Anderson route where he is that deep threat plus, right? Or that Will Fuller, that deep threat plus. Qui-Gon back in again. Should I start Dalvin and Barkley this week or replace one of them with Javonte? Is Dalvin in? I haven't seen officially what the word is on Dalvin. I'm going to spot check right now because, Dalvin Cook on the field participating at the start of practice. If Dalvin Cook's active, you're starting him. If Saquon Barkley's active, you start them. I like Javonte, especially with Melvin Gordon questionable, but you're starting Dalvin Cook. And I think Melvin Gordon might end up playing anyways. Christopher, my guy. Should we pick up some wide receivers from Tennessee since their stars are out? I love this question because I've been thinking the same thing. And as of right now, the answer is no. I want to see how things shake out. And this honestly might be a trap because Tennessee is playing the Jets this week. You might see one of their, Josh Reynolds or I can't even remember the name of the other guy, Westbrook, Ikeen. They got a bunch of different guys there that can play the number 3 or were in the number 4 role now that Julio and AB are inactive for this week. But it's the Jets, and I don't think we can pick with any degree of confidence which one of these guys is going to step up into that role. So I'm leaving them on the waiver wire. If somebody really balls out, I will be interested, but I'm still not going to go blow a bunch of waiver wire fab or priority on them because the Jets, in a small sample size, I'm not going to overreact. But, if you're desperate, why not? Plug one of those guys in. But I know, Christopher, I've seen your rosters. I know you're not that desperate. Jalord back in with a question. Sutton or Golladay in the flex? So we got Golladay with no Shepard, no Slayton. Becomes really interesting. He could be in for a huge target share. And then Sutton against Baltimore. Golladay, believe it or not, even in this Denver's Baltimore game that has a pretty low over-under, and I'm going to pull up the FanDuel Sportsbook right now. I'm expecting the Ravens to put up more points and cause Sutton to need to do something. Yeah, so you have, let's see. Looking at these over-unders here. So, wait, is it? Yeah, Giants at Saints. 41.5 point over-under. That is absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I really don't want to touch that game. I don't want to touch Danny Dimes or Jameis Winston this week. Saints are 7-point favorites. The only guy I'm really going to start here is Marquez Callaway as a deep flex. I'm going Sutton. Especially with KJ Hamler, ACL. Big pun. Appreciate you calling me the GOAT. You did spell my name wrong, though, but it's all good. Seth, Stef, same thing. I am not offended. I am not a snowflake. So I'm okay with being called the wrong name. Lord knows I've been called a lot worse in my time. A-Rob Woods with the crying emoji on Woods. Brandon Ayuk, Deontay Johnson, or Tim Patrick. I need 2. Okay. Interesting. I think A-Rob is in. I think A-Rob has to be in for you. I'm trying to look at all these matchups on the fly. I don't have everything memorized off the top of my head. I'm willing to roll out Robert Woods against Arizona. This is like the last straw for me. In a high over-under shootout divisional matchup, can Robert Woods do it or not? If he doesn't, then I'm really going to get concerned. It might start putting him on my bench. Right now, I still view him as a high upside flex, and for that reason, I'll put him in there. Deontay's interesting, but I want to see how he looks coming off that injury. Might take him a game or two, a week or two for him to get back up to full speed. I do like Ayuk this week as a flex. But of that group, I'm going A-Rob Woods. And I know it sounds like, oh, you're just saying to start your studs. I really do think those guys are going to put up the better numbers this week. Come on, Woods. Do it for us. A-Rob and Kittle or Darrell Henderson and Justin Jefferson and Fan. I have Zeke. Is this a trade question at home? I'm confused. This is like a 3-way trade. Can you just retype that and make it a little bit more easier for me to read? Is Lockett enough for Ridley? I mean, it's a horizontal move. You're not really upgrading your roster. I mean, Lockett does have the upside. Ridley's in the funneled volume situation. I mean, it's just who do you like more? You probably spent higher draft capital on Ridley, but if you're in on Lockett rest of the season, but Lockett right now, man, has this hip issue that I'm a little bit worried about. If you're in a super deep league, go out and get Dwayne Eskridge, rookie that the Seahawks drafted. I believe it was in the 3rd round. I can spot check that later, but go get Dwayne Eskridge. He could step into that role in week 1. They were giving him some checkdowns. They were giving him some screens. Dwayne Eskridge was really interesting to me if Lockett is out. The hip issue could turn into something more with Lockett. He's officially listed as questionable right now for a divisional game. So this could easily be DK Metcalf season. I would go ahead and just keep Ridley in this situation until we know more about the Lockett health. Chris did not play Mooney. Smart man. I know it seemed like Mooney season. We were excited, but we need to see a little bit more. Hopefully this week we do see the Bears get right against Detroit. Best to hold right now for Javonte. Gordon news seems like a good sign. Maybe I can even sell high given his potential. I'm holding Javonte Williams. I mean, we could be seeing like Jonathan Taylor last year, DeAndre Swift last year. These rookies, even J.K. Dobbins, like these rookies that were slowly getting onboarded, and in the back half of the year, literally won people leagues, either as a stud RB2 to fill in for bye weeks, injuries, those kind of things, or imagine putting a stud running back, an RB1 into your flex. That's what you could be getting with Javonte Williams. We comped him all offseason to David Montgomery, and we saw what David Montgomery did at the end of last year. So, yeah, I'm holding right now on Javonte Williams. I want to see how he does with Gordon out. He could be a true league winner. I don't want to sell him yet. I don't think you're going to get league winner value on him right now unless he goes off this game, this week against Baltimore. But I'm not super keen on that happening because Baltimore, from what I've last looked at, has a pretty good run D. What's up, Jeff? Back in again with Broncos hype. Bridgewater looks awesome this season. Denver needs the wide receivers to take a huge step. That is true. Patrick and Sutton are going to have to be really good. You did sign more. Interesting. Yeah. Great depth piece at wide receiver. The KJ Hamler situation after the Jerry Jeudy situation, it's rough. I've been seeing things that like Jeudy might not be the same the rest of the season. Just because the way the injury happened. It could take him a while to get back. Who going to get in return from Melvin Gordon? A flex wide receiver. Let me look at some specific names here. Jacoby Myers, Jalen Waddle. If somebody, it depends on the severity of like how much does that other roster need a running back? But with him hurt right now, I don't think you can get that much. I would wait till he's healthy and plays again. Nervous about future production from Melvin Gordon? Yeah, I would be. I mean, they went out and traded up in the second round to get Javonte Williams, who can do everything that Melvin Gordon can do. I don't know if maybe his peak levels are going to be quite as high as Melgo, because Melgo was an absolute stud when he was with the Chargers in his prime. But we'll see. I would be nervous about his future production. Jeff back in again. Big risk for my flex. I'm considering Mike Evans over Chubb. Brady's going to ball in the revenge game. Hunt is being used more and more. I don't mind it, but you're really going floor or ceiling here. I would still go Nick Chubb because I think he's going to be able to run all over Minnesota. Minnesota keeps getting into these shootouts, whether it's with Seattle, Arizona. I'm putting Nick Chubb in, and Nick Chubb really isn't a guy that I ever want to sit. Just for me, that's not what I want to do. The problem with Mike Evans is he could have that 4-target game where it's 2 for 50. You're praying for the touchdown, and even then, Nick Chubb is probably going to get at least one touchdown if the Browns are putting up points. So I would go Chubb. In general, by default, if you're looking at an RB1 versus a wide receiver one, go with the RB1 because that volume is going to be more secure. What's up, Chris? Gaskin, Javonte, or Emmanuel Sanders for this week? I like Emmanuel Sanders a lot. He's low-key. I was telling everybody to grab him off the waivers because he was putting up air yards. He was getting the targets. The fantasy production just wasn't there. So I like Emmanuel Sanders a lot. Who does Gaskin play? Colts? Yeah. I'm looking at some of these matchups. Want to make sure I get you the right info. I know it doesn't make for the most compelling live stream when I'm just looking off screen. But we got to look at these matchups. We got to know what we're getting into here. So Gaskin, Javonte, or Emmanuel Sanders. No, I'm not. Yeah. Javonte plays. It's hard to keep all these things straight in my mind right now. I would probably go. I'd probably go Gaskin. I'd go Gaskin and pray. Unless they come out and say Melvin Gordon is officially out, in which case I'd move Javonte in. But assuming Melvin Gordon does play, even if he's banged up, I'll go with Gaskin. But if Melgo is out, pivot to Javonte. Chris Carson for Najee Harris and non-PPR. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's another sideways move. It's like moving from Ridley to Lockett. I'd rather have Najee Harris, to be honest, just because the volume is so secure. And Chris Carson is known to not be healthy for a full season. He's never played a full season. So, at some point, Carson's going to go down. I'd rather have Najee, even though the offenses are different. I have to start Tannehill this week. Should I be worried? What's up, Unruly Drip? Back with the J.R. Smith, Hennessy, Avi. Always appreciate seeing that in these live streams every week. Yeah, I'd be worried if I have to start Tannehill. Granted, it is against the Jets. So, and I honestly think if this wasn't the Jets, Julio would probably be playing. But they know they're going to steamroll this team that's looking somehow worse than last year with a QB that's, I guess, seeing more ghosts than Darnold was. Now you got Zach Wilson. It's looking rough. Yeah, Jeff agrees with me. Jeff is smart. He knows what's up. Go with Najee over Carson. It was the same way in drafts, and I'd still, stay in line with those ADPs. Miles Sanders, Robert Woods, Allen Robinson, or Emmanuel Sanders. So you got the battle of the two Sanders. You got Bobby Trees. You got A-Rob. Checking these matchups one more time. Y'all are going to hate me for this. And I want to see in the comments what y'all think. I'd go Robert Woods. Robert Woods against Arizona in a divisional shootout. I got to believe this is Woods' time. This is Woods' week. Teams are going to eventually learn that Cooper Kupp is the main threat, which is going to leave Robert Woods on an island. And we know Woods can put up numbers. He's still playing a ton of snaps, 77% against Chicago in week 1, 98% against Indianapolis week 2, 88% last week against Tampa Bay. He's had a touchdown already on the year. I think against Arizona, he's good for like 15 plus points. I really do. And the target volume's been there the last 2 games. 9 targets, 6 targets. They are close to the line of scrimmage. And, with Bobby Trees, he does get a couple carries here and there too. So I would go with Robert Woods against Arizona. Give him one more shot. Hines, Tyson Williams, Elijah Mitchell, or Ayuk for flex. My first thought is Ayuk. It's always interesting when we do these on Friday because you don't know fully who's questionable yet and who's not. I want to see the Elijah Mitchell update. And I promise I'll be getting to all your all's questions. But I need to see this Elijah Mitchell news. Let's see. He's still wearing a non-contact jersey in practice. He did practice, though, on Friday. He's still questionable. He's still officially listed as questionable right now. He will be a game time decision. It's tough. I would go Ayuk. And I really wouldn't pivot either. Just go Ayuk in a shootout. All the NFC West teams are in shootouts this week. You got the Niners up against I'm totally blanking. Seattle. You got the Niners against Seattle. You got the Rams against the Cardinals. So all those have high over-unders. A-Rob and Kittle for Jay Jets, Fant, and Henderson. And you already have plenty of running backs. The thing that's tough right now is the Kittle injury, the Darrell Henderson injury. I'd rather go where the most fantasy points are, which in this deal to me is A-Rob and Kittle. That's just my 2 cents. I'm curious if other people disagree. This would be one. See, if you posted this in the Discord channel, which if y'all are not in there, hit that free link down below. Join the conversation with me, Alex, a community of over 200 folks in there, dropping hot takes, funny memes, breaking down trades, all of it. Nahum, if you put this in that Discord channel, there'd be an in-depth conversation about it, and we could really take it a step deeper. But to me, I'm going to go A-Rob, Kittle by a hair. I know it sounds gross with how bad Kittle's been and with the questionable injury, but that's just my 2 cents. I think A-Rob is definitely going to bounce back. Ooh, I love this question. Andrew McGrady, what's good with the Patriots Avi? Well, you're going to be happy with my answer here because I'm saying Jacoby Myers. I'm saying Jacoby Myers on this one. I think he's in line for a ton of targets. They might not be the most efficient targets we've ever seen, but I think he's in line for a lot of them. I do like Corey Davis as well as a flex, but I'm definitely going Jacoby over him this week. Any news on DK injury? I've not seen anything on a DK injury. Don't tell me DK's hurt. You're going to make me check here live. Don't do it to me, Jalord. No, he's fine. No, he had a foot injury, but he doesn't have a designation for Sunday's contest. No, he's good. Trying to sell, I'm assuming. You're trying to sell Brandon Cooks. Who should I get in return? These questions are always tough without seeing your opponent's rosters. The strategy when it comes to trading is don't try to just win every trade. Don't try to win every deal. Don't try to screw people over. You want to create long-term relationships and trade partners. That way, when you need a player, you're like, oh, this guy already trusts me. I've done multiple deals with this guy. If I make him a fair offer, he'll accept it, as opposed to the back and forth. No one accepts it, and then you're both screwed. Go look at some of your opponent's rosters and see who needs Brandon Cooks, who needs that wide receiver too. Maybe there's somebody who had T. Higgins or Chark, and they're freaking out, and they're like, oh, yeah, I'll absolutely go get Brandon Cooks. In that case, I'm looking for an RB2. So I'm looking for, honestly, right now, if you can buy low on Jonathan Taylor with Brandon Cooks, I would absolutely do that. Antonio Gibson, you might be able to buy low on. A lot of people are down on him. Outside of that, like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, David Montgomery, those type names, Kareem Hunt. But I would really only do that if you truly need a running back. Judy not being back for a while. Yeah, Fantasy Doctors, they're a great follow. Y'all got to hit them up on YouTube here. A lot of in-depth injury analysis that they provided. It's great. It's a long-term injury with Judy. Qui-Gon still in here. Hasn't left yet. I know he's busy, but you think I have a chance to win this week? Down 42 points since they sort of chased Burrow and Bengals kicker. No, you always have a chance. It's way too early. It's way too early. Never react to the Thursday night game too hard. You always have a shot. What's up, Phil? Start one, Sermon, Tony Pollard, or Shoney Michel. This is a tough one, but I love this question because we're getting pretty deep with these running backs. Tony Pollard. Who did the Cowboys play? Carolina. It's intriguing. My gut says Pollard. I mean, this one is truly a coin flip. Like, I'd put all these guys in the same tier for this week. I think you go, here's what I would do. I'm putting in Tony Pollard because it's the highest over-under game. Actually, I take that back. Rams Cardinals is higher. But regardless, I'm starting Pollard because he's electric. If Elijah Mitchell's ruled out, then I'd be willing to consider Sermon. But for right now, I'm going to go Tony Pollard and just pray they need him to do a lot against Carolina. You can still win. Yeah. Jeff knows. Jeff knows his stuff. Jeff, when are you going to start your podcast? When are you going to start your show so I can hop into your live stream Q&As and ask you these questions? If Kittle doesn't play, you can hear the salt. You can hear the disdain in the comment. If Kittle doesn't play, do I play Knox or Freiermuth in PPR? Interesting. I've been watching Freiermuth. Keep your eyes on him. He's sneaky. If you're in a super deep league or you're desperate at tight end, he looks like he could be passing Eric Ebron pretty soon. If he hasn't already. I mean, I'm trying to see who these guys play. I know the Bills play. The real answer here is CJ Uzama, but that ship already sailed. I'd go Dawson Knox. I'd go Dawson Knox against Houston. Take the easy matchup. Hope he gets the touchdown. Jeff, you're beating me to these punches, man. Jeff knows his stuff. I'm telling you, Jeff, you got to start your own show. You gotta take down Double Boost Sports with your own channel. Bobby Trees. Do you think I should get a new wide receiver? My receivers are Lockett, Amari, Deontay. No, I think you're stacked. Obviously, it hurts right now with Deontay coming back from injury, but he's playing. I think you're fine with that group of three there. Hopefully, you got a couple other ones on your bench. Ooh, Robert Woods or Chuba Hubbard. I like this one. It's like, do we freak out and fade Robert Woods after some bad weeks? Do we go with a new up-and-coming rookie that's still pretty raw? And this goes back to one of the points I made earlier, and this will be helpful for all you guys for the rest of the year, for the rest of the time that you play fantasy. If it's a toss-up like this, and it's like truly these guys are probably dead even, I like Chuba's matchup against Dallas a lot. I like Robert Woods' matchup against Arizona a lot. Both of the guys have, like, it's not like they have these proven track records of production like Dalvin Cook. Like with his injury, it's like we're still rolling him out there because he's such a stud. I'm going with the running back in this situation because the running back volume should be more secure, whereas Robert Woods can only get 4 targets. Like, wide receivers are just so volatile week to week. You never know. Whereas if you're RB1 on a team, which for right now Chuba Hubbard is, as short term as it might be until McCaffrey comes back, that volume is more secure. So I'm going to go Chuba Hubbard. Yeah, Jordan, I don't know. You're going to have to just follow the updates. I don't know. I don't have any like insider info into injuries or guys who are starting or sitting this week. Just going to have to keep your eyes on it. I do like Goddard a lot this week, though, against Kansas City. What's up, Ubel? Sorry I'm late. Hey, all is forgiven. You made it. You're here to support. Thanks for the great work in the Discord. Greetings from Switzerland. What's the best team in the AFC West and why? Oh, man. We're trying to hurt feelings right now. we trying to hurt feelings right now? I mean, it's clearly the Chargers. It's clearly the LA Chargers. Yeah, the Chiefs are garbage. I appreciate you joining, Jubal, and shout out to the Discord. Glad to see that you've been hopping in there with us. We'll keep it going. Unruly Drip, just join that Discord. I mean, hit the link, guys. I mean, that's where we hang out all the time. Me and Alex, we're doing live streams in there. Just don't spam it with low quality takes. That's all we ask. If you're going to hop in there, contribute to the discussion, throw some numbers in there, back up some of your takes. But that's where iron sharpens iron. Iron sharpens iron in that Discord channel because we're all in there helping each other. Everybody's giving feedback. It's great. Don Juan putting his hand on the table. Niners beating Seattle. He's calling it. I'd probably agree. Probably agree with this one. I don't know what Vegas says right now. Let me spot check. Right now, Niners are 3-point favorites at home. So yeah, I think that's a good take. Is James Robinson a safe start now? He had a rough start to the season, but now he's back-to-back 20-plus point games. Yeah, Jeff, you're spot on. You got to start J-Rob. J-Rob's back to being what he was. Carlos Hyde was a healthy scratch this week. Can you believe that? Like, in week 1, everyone was freaking out. They're like, oh, sell J-Rob. He's in a timeshare with Carlos Hyde. He's never going to get more than 10 carries in a game because Hyde's going to get the other 12. James Robinson was always getting pass catching work. And now that Carlos Hyde's literally like not playing, J-Rob's back to being what he has been. Back to being what he has been on a better offense. Now, they're not tanking, so they're not just going to hand it to him 40 times a game and just burn out the clock when they're losing. But yeah, J-Rob is a safe start. I'm loving his outlook rest of the season. Would you trade away Marvin Jones for a panicked Higgins owner in full PPR? No, I would keep Marvin Jones, man. Marvin Jones is now going to be the number one. I mean, he already was, but now with Chart gone, he's already the wide receiver 16, on pace for 160 targets before last night. Last night probably brought him down to 150 or something because it was a little rough. But dude, I'm really excited for Marvin Jones. Like he's everything you want for a redraft name, right? He is older, but that means he has proven production. He's on a team that knows how to use him. He's already putting up numbers. He's getting the target share. And yeah, last night, only 3 targets, but what do you know? He caught all 3 of them for 24 yards. Like you can't, all wide receivers are going to have these 5.4 point outings. Like you just see it. Amari Cooper does it. Tyler Lockett does it. Calvin Ridley does it. DK Metcalf does it. Mike Evans does it. We can't overreact to wide receivers just having these single-digit outings. It's going to happen. It's just part of it. It's just part of the wide receiver position. It's so volatile week to week based on defenses and what they do. Tyreek Hill, for God's sake, he's the perfect example of this. So, no, I'm keeping Marvin Jones. I understand Higgins is an interesting buy right now, but I'm really excited for Marvin Jones. Tanyan or Knox? Tanyan or Knox? I want to lean with Oh, against Pittsburgh? Yeah, I'll do Tanyan. I'll do Tanyan there. I like Tanyan a lot this week. I'm going to go now enjoy the stream, my guy. Thank you, Qui-Gon. May the force be with you. Seems like Juju and Claypool are going to be out. Then should I start Gibson, Deontay, or Carson in full PPR? Need 2 here. I did not see that Claypool was questionable. Did I miss something there? I knew he was questionable. I didn't think he was out. He did not practice. Hamstring. Officially listed as questionable. Was added to the injury report Thursday as a limited participant. Yikes. Yikes. Yikes, 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 yikes in Pittsburgh. The injury bug is hitting Pittsburgh. Guess it's moved out of Baltimore. 2 from this group. Honestly, I'm going to go back to what I keep. This is kind of the theme of today's episode. You're always going to have that one nugget that you take away for the rest of your fantasy career. It's go with the running back in these questionable situations. Go Gibson, Carson here. The volume's going to be more secure. We don't know. Even if Deontay is playing, This could be another Najee Harris 19 target type game. This could be a Pat Freiermuth, Eric Ebron type game. Deontay is in his first game back, didn't even start practicing till late this week. I would like to see Deontay play, and you have better options, so go with the other options. Devonta Smith or Jacoby Myers. Love this one. Getting a lot of questions on both of these guys this week. I would go with Devonta Smith in that Kansas City matchup. It's going to be a very high-scoring game, hopefully. And Devonta Smith is the one. I know he got shut down a little bit, but he was against Trayvon Diggs, who was shutting down Mike Evans, shutting down Keenan Allen. I like Devonta Smith a lot. I'm going with Smitty here. I think he has the higher upside. I think Myers is probably safer for more targets, but he also has the tougher matchup with the Buccaneers and a lower over-under in that game. After this news about Gibson, do you think I should start him or Miles Sanders? I don't read into the Gibson thing too much. I'm going to spot check it one more time to see what his official designation is. Okay, yep, it's officially questionable. He logged a limited session on Friday. I think he's going to be like DeAndre Swift in the fact that like they're just always resting later on in the week. So no, for now I'm still going Gibson. I do like Sanders though, but his usage is just puzzling. This coaching staff does not know how to use Miles Sanders. They give him 2 carries. What do you know? All right, 2 carries for 27 yards. If you're giving your running back the ball and he gets 13 and a half yards on average, why would you not feed him? I get it. It's a small sample size of only 2 carries, but you're like, oh, we're running the ball really well. Every time we hand him the ball, we get a first down. Let's stop doing that. It's like, even if you're in a losing game script, just put the ball in the hands of your best playmakers. It's not that hard. When are the Eagles going to figure this out? Silly. It's just silly. Miami defense or Indy defense facing each other. I'll probably go Indy defense. I think Wentz is more liable to turn it over, whereas Brissett will probably be a little safer. That's just my 2 cents. Jeff's going to start his channel soon. Love it to dig into these matchups. I do too, man. Jeff, you better be in that Discord. You sound like you have a lot to say and would love to hear you piping up in the channels. And the Discord, Monty or Zeke full PPR. Does Monty have a really good matchup this week? I mean, this should be pretty easily Zeke. Yeah, Monty against Detroit. It's a pretty good matchup, to be honest with you. Zeke against Carolina, that's a scary matchup. It's probably closer than I want to admit, but I'm still going to go Zeke here. Yeah. Jeff is in on starting Deontay this week. I'm trying not to, but if you have to, why not? You know, he should be good for like 10 targets. I just don't know how he's going to look coming off the knee injury. Robert Tonyan or Dalton Schultz. Interesting. Schultz is still putting up numbers. I thought he was going to get relegated by Blake Jarwin, but he's still, 7 targets against Philly last week, 2 touchdowns, obviously. I'll go with Dalton Schultz. Keep the momentum rolling. Higher point total too. You know, Green Bay, Pittsburgh's a little bit lower. So yeah, go Dalton Schultz. Ooh, AB Corey Davis or Gaskin in PPR. I would go with, looking at these matchups here. AB against New England, Corey Davis against Tennessee, or Gaskin against Indy. I'll go Gaskin there. Again, go with the running back. I like the upside of Corey Davis this week, but now that all the good receivers in Tennessee are out, I feel less confident that game's going to turn into a shootout. I'll go with Gaskin. Give me the reliable volume. I think Brissett's going to end up checking down to him a lot. I want to see what Gaskin did last week real quick. Yeah, 5 or 6 targets every single game. You love that from the running back position. We might look up at the end of the season and Gaskin is top 5 in running back targets. That's completely in his range of outcomes. The boom ceiling's probably not there. If you're looking across from you and if you're in the situation like the other guy who was in here a second ago, Alex, and had, Burrow and Chase and whoever else. No, I'm sorry, Burrow and Boyd. So starting off with a 42-point deficit. Then maybe go Corey Davis and just shoot for the moon. But I'll go Gaskin here. Yeah, Jeff likes AB. I can appreciate it. I wouldn't debate you too hard. Darrell Henderson, or I'm assuming Josh Jacobs, that is. I don't know. I don't think Jacobs is going to play. The fact that you're asking makes me want to look at it real quick. Okay. He ran routes in practice on Thursday. I'm reading. It's still unclear whether Jacobs will play in Week 4 against the Chargers if he does his immediate start in leagues. This is actually really tough. Let me see Henderson's health. Henderson's going to play. I'm curious to see if it's going to be a 50-50 split. I'm going to go Henderson because I don't want to be stuck depending on Jacobs unless you have Peyton Barber. I don't want to rely on Jacobs for the Monday night game and then not have another option if they rule him out last minute, which has happened with Josh Jacobs before. If you guys remember, Josh Jacobs tweeted out once. He was like, yeah, I'm definitely not going to play. And then he played just to make fun of fantasy gamers. Emil, Antonio Brown or Hines at flex. It's Antonio Brown here. Easily. Hubbard or Fournette. I'm going to start going a little bit faster through these. I got another 15 minutes before I got to jump out of here. But again, I appreciate all you guys joining in. Hit that Discord link. Join the conversation with us. Join the community. And of course, a like and a sub. Always appreciate it on the channel. We'll keep going for another 15 minutes or so. Trying to get caught up on all these comments. I feel like I'm almost there. But I'll go through these next couple ones a little bit faster. Chuba or Fournette? This one's really interesting to me. I'm going to go with Chuba because I like the matchup better, but these guys are neck and neck. If you have a strong feeling either way, just go with your gut. I'm going Chuba, though. Antonio Brown for Deontay Johnson. Is that a good trade? I would rather have Deontay. Target volume is more secure with Deontay. He is competing with other weapons, but not the level of weapons of Godwin and Evans, and Gronk's on a tear right now. And now the fact that Juju and Claypool are banged up, I'm still going to keep Deontay. Heck yeah, Jeff. Now we got another Broncos fan in the Discord too. I feel like we have a little Broncos community in there. I feel like there's a ton of Broncos fans. We keep talking about Rodgers going to Denver. It's comes up once a week in the Discord. I keep saying Rodgers to Pittsburgh, but that's neither here nor there. Start 2, Jacoby Myers, Cole Beasley, Tim Patrick, Robbie Anderson. Interesting. Very interesting. Let me see Beasley's snap shares real quick because coming off a great game, 13 targets, 4 targets, 13 targets again to start the year, playing 91, 60, 66% of snaps. I'm definitely not going Robbie Anderson. I'll go Jacoby and Beasley. That's my pick. We might get into a debate between Patrick and Beasley, but Beasley has the super soft matchup. I like Beasley a lot, man. He's getting a lot of check down volume, and we're seeing that impact Stephon Diggs. Pittman or Nyuk full PPR, and TJ Hawk or Gaskin half point PPR. Definitely big pun. You got to go with Gaskin over Hawkinson. You saw what happened last week with Hawkinson, and that's what all tight ends can do. They can just bust her out based on different defensive matchups, personnel groupings. Tight ends can just be either game scripted or personneled out of games. So I'm definitely going to go Gaskin. I like Gaskin a lot this week. And then Pittman or Nyuk full PPR. Definitely going Nyuk there in a divisional shootout. Nyuk played 86% of snaps last week. He's back fully on the field. With Kittle banged up, could mean even more volume for Nyuk. So I love the upside for Nyuk. What's up, Ashwin? Ashwin said Christian Kirk, Tim Patrick, or Corey Davis at flex for PPR. Mike Davis is an option too. Man, you're giving us a lot of good options here. Let me think. Mike Davis plays Washington. I would probably go with Mike Davis. Probably go Mike Davis. If you don't go Mike Davis, after that, I'm going to go with Corey Davis. You either go one Davis or the other. How are we feeling about Tim Patrick? May start him over Adam Thielen. Don't start him over Adam Thielen because Thielen is balling out. He still is. People are still waiting for him to decline with Justin Jefferson there, and he's not declining. He's not declining. 2 touchdowns week 1, another touchdown in week 2, another touchdown in week 3. Adam Thielen is on pace for a ridiculous amount of touchdowns, and he's in a more funneled situation. I know we like Tim Patrick, but he has a solid tight end to compete with. I'm going Adam Thielen. More proven. Yep, Jeff agrees. Dalton Schultz or Dallas Goddard at tight end. Definitely Dallas Goddard. I like Goddard a lot in this shootout game script this week, though. The Zach Ertz thing did bother me a little bit for Goddard because I do have Goddard shares all over the place. This one actually is closer than this is closer than I thought. Initially, I was like, oh yeah, Goddard against Kansas City, that's a smash. But after the Zach Ertz performances lately, I want to temper expectations on Goddard to a degree, but I think I would still go Goddard over Schultz. Should I start Curtis Samuel? What's good, Ruben? Curtis Samuel, I mean, assuming you have better options, yeah, don't start Curtis Samuel. Let's see how he looks. For me, I think I want to see, because of the way that Rivera and that staff eased Curtis Samuel into camp, eased him now into like getting game ready. I feel like they might ease him in as far as his reps on the field. He might not see that many targets this week, so I'd rather sit him at all costs unless I just literally don't have any other options. Yeah, Jeff is with me on that. DJ Moore, CeeDee Lamb, or Debo, start Barkley this week. What's good, Don? I think you definitely have to start Saquon and CeeDee Lamb and DJ Moore in the same game against each other. That one's, I like this question. It's making me think. I want to say CD. I do worry about Trayvon Diggs with DJ Moore, but honestly, I don't think you can go wrong with either of these two guys. With Debo, on the other hand, I like the matchup against Seattle. I mean, you have a good problem on your hands, Don. You got 3 great solid options, and you have Saquon Barkley. I'd go Barkley, CD, but that's just me. If you want to go DJ Moore, I wouldn't debate you too hard. I'll take Dak throwing the ball as opposed to Darnold, but DJ Moore with no Christian McCaffrey should be in line for some work too. I mean, both of these guys are going to be good. No amount of analysis is going to give us the right answer here. Need 3: Adam Thielen, Cortland Sutton, Corey Davis, Chuba Hubbard. This one's easy. Thielen, Sutton, Hubbard. Don't go Corey Davis. What's good, caption? You're a Dalton Schultz fan in the Goddard versus Schultz? Yeah, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I am leaning Dalton Schultz. The only week he did poorly was a week all the Dallas receivers were bad. That was that game where they went from like Tampa Bay in week 1 where all they did was throw. Then after that, they go into the Chargers game where all they did was run. And then you go back to the Philly game where they were a little bit more balanced of an offense. So yeah, I like Schultz. I really do. I don't want to say Schultz over Goddard, but I think I would. It's tough. I'm going to beat myself up either way if I pick the wrong one. Start Emmanuel Sanders or Tim Patrick. The worry for Emmanuel Sanders is that because he's against Houston, they're not going to need him to do much. And this could be like just a Zach Moss and Devin Singletary game. I would go Tim Patrick here, I think. I think. It's, yeah. Tim Patrick on this one for me. Curtis Samuel or Michael Pittman? I'd still throw in Pittman. I know it hurts. I like Curtis Samuel a lot more as a player, but I just think they're going to ramp Curtis Samuel up slowly. They're not just going to throw him in there and say, okay, 11 targets. I want to see how he looks on the field too. If he's banged up, he's not going to give us the fantasy performance we want. Whereas Pittman, he is the one there right now. He is. I thought it was Zach Pascal, but it's not. It's Michael Pittman. And he's getting downfield targets. Go up and get it type player. I'll take Pittman for this week. And then assuming Samuel looks solid, I'll move Samuel in the week after. Will Hawkinson bounce back after a poor fantasy performance? I tend to think he will. Against Chicago. Yeah. Shout out to Jeff. Jeff is killing it in the chat right now. Speaking of Jeff, he has Stafford and Dak. Do you think Stafford is an every week start? I'm heavily considering it, but keeping Dak on my bench feels wrong. Yeah, Jeff, you're in one of those situations where you could sell one of these guys and shore up your roster elsewhere. Go get an RB2. Go get a flex wide receiver, a boom bust flex wide receiver with one of these guys. Go get a Brandon Ayuk type name. Go get a Laviska Shenault. Go get a Devonta Smith, a Mike Evans with one of those QBs. I would sell whichever one you can get the most for, because to me, Stafford and Dak are about even. You're just going to play the matchups, which for me this week would probably be Stafford. Stafford against Arizona. Yeah, I'll take that. Wide receiver 2 in flex out of Hollywood Brown, Odell Beckham, Robbie Anderson, Emmanuel Sanders, and Leonard Fournette. Full PPR. I'm assuming that's Emmanuel Sanders. Could be Miles Sanders, but I would go Odell and Fournette. I don't want to trust Hollywood Brown with Rashad Bateman now back in, and the egregious drops from last week. I don't ever want to overreact to drops, but in all seriousness, no, I'm going to go Odell because he's the one, and there's not many other options that are going to compete with him for targets. Robbie Anderson's bustering out. Leonard Fournette is the RB1 on the best offenses. One of the best offenses. I'm not going to say the best. One of the best offenses in football. Ooh, more Samuel and Pittman. I'm assuming that's not DJ Moore. Let me know. I'm assuming that's maybe like Rondale Moore. I would still go Pittman. Unless if that's DJ Moore, then you go DJ Moore. If that's Rondale Moore, you go Pittman. What's up, Philly D? Start 3, Allen Robinson, Robert Woods, Antonio Brown, Kenny Golladay, Jalen Waddle. A lot of good options for you here. I'm going to go. Y'all are still going to hate me for this. I keep saying Robert Woods. I think this is the game against Arizona, divisional shootout. I think he's good for 15 plus this week. I just do. Who else is in there? Kenny Golladay. Who does he play? Saints. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'd go Woods. Oh shoot, Allen Robinson. Wasn't even thinking about him. I'd go Woods, A-Rob. I know it doesn't feel great, but I'm expecting a get-right game against Detroit for A-Rob, even if Fields is not what we want him to be yet. And then I think this is the week for Robert Woods. If Robert Woods busters out again this week, then we get concerned. Chuba or Mitchell if he plays, definitely Chuba. Chuba either way. Even if Mitchell plays, I'm still going Chuba. Hey, appreciate you, Don. Thanks for hopping in. Appreciate all y'all with these questions here. Last 5 minutes. Again, if y'all are still rocking with me, hit that Discord link. Join the conversation. It's free. You get direct access to me, Alex, and over 200 other members of our community chopping it up, start sit questions, trade advice, all of it in there. I've even done in-depth roster breakdowns where we've gone through people's entire leagues in a screen share and broken down their rosters, their opponents' rosters, where all the draft picks were, and found specific players to go after in trade, trying to help win people leagues here. Would you trade Keenan Allen and Kareem Hunt for Allen Robinson and Austin Eckler? I'd probably keep Keenan Hunt. I'd probably keep Keenan and Hunt. Yeah, that's a gut feeling there. Like, Hunt will be more boom bust than Eckler will be, but as much as I keep telling people to start Allen Robinson, there is that downside that's there, and we know how secure Keenan's volume is, even with Mike Williams ascending. Keenan Allen's an every week stud, especially in a shootout game script against Las Vegas this week. So it's Keenan, Kareem Hunt for me. Should I keep Barkley? Absolutely. Start Godwin no matter what? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think he's a locked-in wide receiver 2 or flex every week, which means you're never going to sit him unless you are in like a 10-team league or 8-team league and there's like all these better options for you. I'm starting Godwin almost every week. Rondale Moore or Shenault on bench? Well, you missed the window with Shenault. But Rondale Moore is pretty much Laviska Shenault. Like, they play the same role for their offenses. Shenault's going to take a huge step now that DJ Chark is going to be out. And Alex and I, if you guys have watched the show, you know we are huge Laviska Shenault truthers. We think he's going to just blow up. Yeah, Jeff, you're playing it exactly right. Love this mindset. Have way more faith in Stafford considering how much Dallas has been running. On top of that, Dak has more name value. Yeah, Dak is the sexy name. He was going higher in drafts. Sell Dak and see what you can get for him. Running back or wide receiver 2. Rest of the season, from best to worst, I will go. This is tough because these are all good guys, James. Silver Rapture said, you just did. Going from best to worst, Ridley, CD, Godwin, Lockett. I would disagree. I would go Ridley. I would just switch Godwin and Lockett. That's all I would do. But I can see like Lockett with the injury right now. Kind of less excited about him at the moment. And honestly, like Ridley might be number 2, and it might be CD as the number 1. Ridley's not doing what we expected him to do. Rondale Moore. Hey, Rondale Moore could have very easily a good game, especially with DeAndre Hopkins hurt. I do not hate Rondale Moore this week at all. I think he's good for 10 plus points. Like, I put him in the range of like Marquez Callaway, Henry Ruggs, these like upside guys, but like you feel pretty good they're going to have a good game. So a perfect flex option for me, especially in like a 12 or 14 team league, and you have to roll Rondale Moore in the flex. That's great. Pick wide receiver in a flex, half point PPR, AB, Waddle, Kirk, Sermon, Mitchell, Tyson. Honestly, forgot Ninja. Let me give you a piece of advice. You can either trade or drop Trey Sermon. And it hurts me to say that because I'm a Sermon owner in a lot of places. Well, you've seen how many things have had to go right for Sermon to have an 11.5 point fantasy outing in PPR leagues. And even then, Kyle Juszczyk saw a 66% snap share and was taking the bulk of the carries. Like, dude, it's not going to happen for Sermon. I'm sorry. I don't know why they drafted him if they're not going to use him. I'm worried that Sermon might become the next Royce Freeman, where they don't use him. So I'm going to go, to answer your question, I'll go AB Waddle. Yeah, I'll go AB Waddle. Who does Christian Kirk play? Is that Rams? Yeah. Dang. I mean, Kirk has a good matchup. I'll still go AB Waddle, but Kirk is right there. KB says, thanks for the help, bro. Thank you for the question. You're absolutely welcome. Hit that Discord. We'll keep it rolling all season long. Keep following the show. Like and sub on YouTube. A few more here, and then I'm signing off. Ruben, thanks for hanging out. Another trade Mixon for Golladay, Waddle, and Mitchell. So you're selling Mixon for all three? I mean, let's see what the Mixon. Have they said anything on Mixon's health right now? We might have to look at that real quick. It's not even loading recent news for Mixon on Sleeper. So let me try this again. There we go. Finds the end zone in week 4, injures ankle. Zach Taylor confirmed that Mixon is dealing with an ankle issue, but fantasy managers have a good chance to see him out there with a few additional days added before the week 5 matchup against the Packers. Still, if he isn't able to go, Samaje Perine would likely be the one getting most of the carries in the backfield versus Green Bay. Man, I think Waddle and Mitchell are like the sneaky, like late round guys that are going to hit. But I'd still go Mixon because Mixon should be like, he's a low-end RB1. I don't know, it may not look like that right now from his fantasy production, but we saw the 25 points in week 1. We saw the touchdown again in week 4. They're going to be getting into some shootouts and some easy matchups in Cincinnati. They have the Chargers later in the year. I think Green Bay will be a high point total. They have Detroit should be a soft matchup. The Jets should be a soft matchup. They have Vegas in week 11. I'm going to keep Mixon. You know, in a trade like this, like you're going for depth or fantasy points. I think in terms of most fantasy points of all these players, Mixon will put up the most. So I want him on my roster. It's unless you're literally looking at your flex right now being like, I have nothing and you just need to move for depth. I still want to have the highest. It's simple, right? You want to have the highest fantasy points in your lineup. And for me, that's Mixon as my RB1 or hopefully RB2 in an ideal scenario. Got another one. Shout out to Joey. And caption, I see your Julio Jones trade value question. We will get to that one. I'm getting a lot of questions on Julio right now. A lot of questions on Julio. But Robert Woods, Cortland Sutton, or Chase Edmonds this week. Edmonds is like the highest floor play of all floor plays. You're getting 10 to 15 from him and no more. It's just the way it's looking for Edmonds. We thought that boom upside was going to happen. I got to be honest, I don't see it. But let's see some of these other matchups here. Woods against Arizona, Sutton against Baltimore. I want to say this is tough. This is tough. Don, I see your question coming in here. We're going to try to get to all these before I hop out of here. Might have to go a little bit quicker. But I'm stumped by this one, man. Woods or Sutton, like they're dead even to me. I'm going to go Sutton. I'm going to go Sutton on this one, but it's close. I like Woods this week, man. Tannehill or Heineke this week. Heineke against Buffalo. It's not bad. It's not bad. I'm trying to think how much we should really adjust the Tannehill expectations with both of his receivers missing and not really going to need to put up major points. Yeah, I'd go Taylor Heineke, dude. I'd go Heineke, honestly, as a 1-week rental, and then you plug Tannehill right back in. Heineke's a decent stream against Atlanta. Should be able to put up points on them. We know Atlanta has weapons. They'll probably put up points too. It's a low over-under. I'll probably take the over on it. And yeah, I like Heineke. Tannehill like is perfect for like the 13-point week. Just like he's not going to do nothing, but he just doesn't have his two best playmakers on the outside. He's in a soft matchup. This could easily just be handed off to Derrick Henry 35 times, and that's the game. So I'll take Heineke with Curtis Samuel back. Julio Jones trade value. Here's my rule for the most part. Unless you have a guy that's just like doesn't care about the injury, what you know is if you're moving Julio Jones right now, you're getting back the injury value. Like the injury has devalued him so much that it's not even worth trading him. Just wait till he's healthy again, has a few more good games, and then trade him. Trading after injuries, one, people aren't going to pay up for him because they're like, oh, you're selling me damaged goods? What if he's ends up being out for the rest of the season? People just overreact to the stuff like that. I mean, his traded value is brutally low. So I wouldn't trade him. If you're trying to get a running back for him, see if you can get Chase Edmonds for him. I doubt it. See if you can get Myles Gaskin for him. I doubt it. Damian Harris. See if you can get like these low end RB2s. I was going to say Javonte Williams, but with Melvin Gordon questionable, people are probably excited about Javonte. I wouldn't go as low as like Tony Pollard or like Michael Carter or anybody like that. And if you're going to sell him for a wide receiver, the best you're going to get is like Devonta Smith or something, or Kenny Golladay. It's just like, might as well just wait for Julio to come back. Rate this trade: Saquon, Emmanuel Sanders, AJ Green, Devontae Booker, and I received Dalvin Cook, Will Fuller, and Kenyon Drake. Need to pick up Madison. What's he worth in a 14-team PPR? In a 14-team, you got to have handcuffs, I believe, just because the waivers are so brutal that if you got a guy that gets hurt, unless you just have stud running backs all around, really hard. Like, I know people say, like, don't draft your handcuffs, you're capping your upside, and you are, but in 14-team leagues, trying to play out an entire season, I think you should have your handcuffs if there is a clear high upside handcuff like Madison. I think he's worth a lot if you have Dalvin Cook. I would rather have the Saquon side, to be honest with you. I don't like Drake at all. Will Fuller is going to just continue to find ways to miss games. But that's my take. I love Saquon. I love Emmanuel Sanders. AJ Green still has a little bit of life. And then Booker, you get the handcuff. So, yeah, I'll take the Saquon side. What is Teddy Bridgewater's ceiling? I think he could easily finish top 15 in terms of fantasy points. Yeah. I mean, he's always going to be a streamer. That's just what he is. As far as like what his ceiling is as a player, I think he could give you like late career Drew Brees type numbers consistently, where it's like, it's not the most efficient in the world, but like he's not going to turn the ball over. He's going to have decent yardage totals. He's not going to have a ton of touchdowns, but he'll have enough. So, yeah, I think he's definitely top 15 as of right now. Start 3. What's up, Greg? Pittman, Woods, Waddle, Ayuk, Smith, Tim Patrick. Is Smith Devonta Smith? I will assume it is. In this case, I'm going Woods. I'll go Woods. I'll go Woods, Devonta Smith, and Ayuk. Waddle's right there. But that Indianapolis Miami game is just kind of gross. So, yeah, I'll go, again, Woods, Ayuk, Devonta Smith. Flex Debo or Myers. You got to go Debo, man. Debo's been on a tear. I know Jacoby Myers is in line for some decent target share. But so is Debo Samuel. And we saw Ayuk with an 86% snap share. Debo still had 10 targets in a shootout against Seattle. Love Debo this week. Love Myers this week, but I like Debo a lot more. Myers is like a perfect flex, whereas like Debo can still be a wide receiver 2 for you this week. Henderson or Jamal Williams PPR. I want to see what Henderson's going to do in his first week back from injury, potentially splitting it with Sony Michel. I want to see what that workload split looks like. We know what it looks like for Jamal Williams, and that's why he's the start for me of these two. I know some people might disagree. That's just my personal take on it, is I want to see what Henderson looks like for a week before I just start rolling him out there again. All right, I'm going rapid fire. I do have to sign off, guys. If I had to pick one wide receiver out, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, who do I pick? You go DeAndre Hopkins if he plays. Claypool's hurt playing Kosi. You're not getting Claypool this week, so it's Hopkins. The easy answer for you right here is Hopkins, and if he doesn't play, go to Deontay. And that's it. Emmanuel Sanders or Jacoby Myers. I'm going to go with Jacoby. Jacoby's in line for more targets. Might not need Sanders against Houston. Yeah, Ruben, love the roster breakdown on here. This is this is the type of stuff you put in the Discord channel. Jeremy, what's good? Deontay Johnson or CEH this week? I'm going CEH. Go with the running back. Should be relatively secure volume. Could be a game where they just gash Philadelphia on the ground and try to change things up, because not targeting CEH has led them to a 1-2 record. I'm joking. I'm being a little facetious there, but I like CEH more this week. Deontay, I want to see how he looks first week back, even though he could be in a funneled situation. If Juju and Claypool are out, I might switch this to Deontay. Yeah, Greg, hop in the Discord channel. We'll be happy to go more in depth. I don't have the time right now to break this one down fully. It's really hard without seeing, some of the other opponent rosters. Ooh, Hollywood. Love this trade. Traded Antonio Brown, Chase Claypool, Elijah Mitchell, and Miles Sanders for Hopkins and Chubb. I think you gave up a little bit too much. I think you could have kept Sanders or Claypool, but go get Hopkins and Chubb. Why not? Especially if this is a 10-team league. I love it. And Chubb is, to me, with Hopkins being hurt right now, Chubb is the best player in this deal. Hines or Singletary, full PPR. I'll go Hines. Hope for the pass catching volume. Doesn't feel good with Zach Moss back in. You cannot trust Singletary. Hawkinson or Zach Moss, half PPR. Man, this question, this is so gross. It's so gross. I'll go with the running back still. And light matchup with Zach Moss against Houston. He could be in line for another 2-touchdown game. Easily, Zach Moss could this week. Should I trade Tyreek Hill for Deontay Johnson? Frankie, don't do this. Do not do this. Do not get played. Tyreek Hill is an absolute stud league winner. Don't trade Tyreek Hill unless you're getting an absolute haul. Zach Moss was a healthy scratch 2 weeks ago. Keep Tyreek. Woods or Henderson, half PPR. Absolutely Woods for me, no question. Appreciate the question, though, Joseph. Trying to fly through these because I do have to hop out of here, but I appreciate you guys joining in, watching. As always, a like and a sub on here on YouTube helps a ton. Hit that Discord channel, join the conversation. Last couple questions. What's good, Mike? Flex Myers, Patterson, or Corey Davis? I'm going Jacoby Myers here. I think he's in line for a ton of target volume. I like Corey Davis as a high upside name, but could easily poop his pants, in the words of the fantasy footballers. If Mitchell is out, start Edwards or Curtis Samuel. Brian Edwards? What's good, Tanner? He said, hey, yo. If Mitchell is out, start Edwards or Curtis Samuel. I'll go Curtis Samuel. I know I've been kind of down on Curtis compared to consensus, but I don't think you can start Brian Edwards with any degree of confidence yet. Whereas Samuel should be the 2. Just hope he's not getting worked in slowly. I'll take the upside shot on Curtis Samuel. But that's it, guys. As always, appreciate y'all listening and watching. We're going to keep dropping our start sits every single week. Keep the questions coming in the YouTube comments. We'll try to get to those if you want us to make sure we see your question. And even if we don't, we got 200 other people that could hop in and reply, like-minded fantasy gamers that know their stuff. Shout out to Jeff. Shout out to Frankie. Shout out to Joseph. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Nifty Main. Shout out to everybody who's joining here today. Really, again, appreciate you guys hopping in. Hit that Discord, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.